We should be live
I want to let me share this.
because that's the event.
Okay. Yay!
If everything is working, we should be live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yay! Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. High five.
Well,
Hi, I'm Nixie,
and you know me, I'm Robin Shadle.
illustrious author, literal goddess.
Don't
Sorry,
overdo things, please.
I could do things another way.
Anyway, you are the hostess,
I
so
am the hostess. Hi, everybody. I'm Nixie. This is illustrious author Robin Shadle. We are here to celebrate the release of her newest book, which we don't have a physical copy of at the moment.
no, because supply issues have kept it from getting here in time. Whispers of Oracular Crows.
So, yep. Which is part of my favorite series of yours so far. I've actually really enjoyed this one.
It is book 2 of the Tale of Two Thrones trilogy.
And we last left our main trio in a bit of a separated pickle. Are we allowed to use spoilers for the first book?
I mean, at this point, they've had about almost a year to read it.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert, little cliffhanger. Our trio was separated at the end of the last book, and this next book sees where their journey takes them from there. I have a sheet of questions. Do you want to give a little synopsis of the story so far before we start?
Just 1 second. I do want to make sure everything is working.
Yay, we're going to make sure everything's working. If I look really tired, it's because I literally just got home from an 8-day cruise.
Instagram doesn't let me know.
It's the great shirt.
Great.
Do you want me to check Instagram via my Instagram?
It doesn't show. But it does show we're live on the YouTube.
Woo!
And we are live on Facebook. So, which is where most things go. So, I do apologize for my voice. Allergies are terrible this year.
Louisiana's trying to kill us.
So, let's just get started.
Okay. Alrighty. So, what major turning points can readers expect in the second book?
I mean, as I'm sure you recall, there's quite a few turning points. How would you describe a turning point without being too spoilery? Well, given that Courage was captured, the rescue of Courage.
Hashtag save the cinnamon roll.
We do get to see the two thrones in question.
We do.
As there are two coronations.
There are two coronations. Who could that be?
Let's see. There's some personal journey turning points. I don't want to go into too much detail because a few people do have to learn some lessons.
True. Will there be new characters introduced? And if so, can you hint at their role in the story?
Oh, there's always new characters introduced. More of Karina's family is introduced. Some characters.
Speaking of cinnamon rolls.
No, he was introduced in the last book.
Was he introduced? He doesn't get a lot of attention until the second one, though.
All of Courage's family is introduced.
They're adorable.
The girl Courage has been crushing on is introduced in detail. You know, because Gwen's only snow elf pretty. A few servants are introduced. I mean, there are some minor characters dealing with, as well as some who will be important in book 3. In terms of the aristocracy in both places. More members of the Crimson Fang who have their own agendas.
Some match up and some don't.
So you get to see there are a lot of new faces.
The first book left our list with the heroes scattered, particularly Courage, who was imprisoned in an unknown location. How will this be addressed in the sequel?
Well, there's going to be a rescue attempt. I won't say anything, but one of my readers mentioned how in the first book I've made a lot of Ghostbusters references.
I didn't notice that. That was not me.
No, it wasn't you.
Was it Heather?
No. I mean, I only used the major plot points of Ghostbusters, like the containment grid being sabotaged
I've seen them. I don't think what.
and the ghost trap
Look. Oh, Quetafa!
and the PKE meter, which is what Courage was messing with half the time. An older movie gets referenced this time from the 70s, particularly one from 1977.
Why do I feel like it's a Dracula movie and it starred Christopher Lee? Am I wrong?
Because you're wrong. If you would look to the stars, you might have a chance of being right.
I don't remember Courage kissing his sister.
That wasn't until 1981. 77. It's the original Star Wars.
Okay.
So, that one gets... I use some allusions to that just because...
Don't be using my government name, Chris.
Because it was funny. And it worked with the scene. Given where he was and what he was doing. But of course, that's all borrowing from Warhammer.
Alright, did your readers' response to the first book influence your direction for the sequel in any way?
Not really, because I started immediately after.
True.
Because, like I said...
I'm pretty sure I read most of book 2 before we even introduced book 1, didn't we? Yeah, before we did the last
You
one.
did? Because it was originally supposed to be one book. But when I got to 100,000 words at the end of Act 1, I realized I had to do some changes and split it into 3.
What themes do you hope will resonate most with the readers in this book?
Some of the same ones. Family. Found family. Those are some of the big themes in most of my work that you're going to find. I'm trying to think themes in this book. Because I was really focusing on the family and obligation to self versus to family. Because we see that with Karina and her religious trauma.
Oh, look at Chris being sweet. He can be sweet.
You're welcome, Sterby. when he's not being a drang. But obligation to self versus family. The idea that nothing lasts forever. Damn it.
You okay?
I'm fine. That everything dies.
Okay, that hits a little hard for us right now. We lost one of our cats a few months ago, and
Less than a few months ago, really.
it was February, huh?
I think it was March.
But it's been a little hard. We miss Suzu. I believe the third book is going to be dedicated in her memory.
Third book will be dedicated to Zuzu's memory.
Who did you dedicate the second one to?
Chris and Marky.
Aw, our girls. Not you, Chris. Other Chris. So. Sorry. Oh, shit.
Because Chris Webster is looking to get her online bookstore up and running again.
Woo!
So once that's done, I'll be posting about it.
Whew, okay. How did the writing process for the second book differ from the first?
Not a lot, because again, it's just continuation, just one right out. You remember, it was basically an ADHD fueled.
You banged that one out pretty quick.
I banged all three of them out. I banged 300,000 words out in about
My dirty brain almost went up.
5 months.
You banged how many? You're the one who asked me to do these with you knowing how I am. Was there a particular scene or moment in the sequel that was especially challenging or rewarding to write?
This one, would I say there's anything challenging? No, this book was pretty easy. This book flowed pretty easily.
You were like you had a chapter a day almost for a while. It was pretty intense.
You will find the first few chapters with Karina were originally a prequel short story with Gwen that I just refurbished.
Really? Did not know that. That's cool. Knowing the entire trilogy arc, did you write the second book with specific foreshadowing in mind?
That's the second book. There's a little bit of foreshadowing in the first. I know there's some foreshadowing in the second. I think what really became the big foreshadow moment came about after my editor, who actually did the job.
This is probably one of the easiest ones for me to go through, not just to read and edit, just all together.
Suggested that I needed something that was going to be in book 3, so I moved it to book 2.
Yep.
To get foreshadowing.
Yep. It's a good call. Your editor is awesome.
Editor needs to finish book 3, so I
yeah,
can
editor
get going.
really needs. No, she's not kidding. I am way behind on that.
The editor has had it since December.
Yes, she has. Life has been a little wild, but all right. Do. Comparing the series to the Adventures of Sam Hain, how is the writing process different, if at all? I'll say one thing. She has banged these books out so quick compared to the Sam Hain novels. And I know, especially the most recent one, you've been, struggling with a bit.
Well, I started book 6, and then the brainworm for this series came. And I know better when I have an ADHD brainworm. You got to follow it. You have to follow it. And so picking up the manuscript after not working on it for 6 months, it felt foreign. It felt alien.
Do you have a water bottle?
Yes, I have your water bottle.
Sorry. Getting dried out. Continue.
But again, this was a trilogy. I had the outline for the entire story drafted. It's not a series. It's meant to be one connected story. Whereas after probably the next 3 or 4 books, Sam will just be standalones, like I originally intended. But this, so it's how do you foreshadow? Because still with Sam, the goal is to keep each book independent. So hey, well, this book deals with the Banshee. This book deals with Germanic vampire lore. This one deals with Irish vampire lore.
And while there's that overlying theme and plotline that's there as well, you can still pick up any of the books and read them.
This one deals with, book 3, you're not supposed to know what it is until the end. Books 4 and 5 work together as sort of a mid-season cliffhanger. Book 6, Blue Moon, the challenge is it's 2 stories. So it's 2 case files. One is based loosely on a creepypasta.
You do love your creepypastas.
And one is based loosely on, someone, I think it was Christian Markey said, what happens if stupid amateur paranormal investigators got in trouble and needed her help? So dealing with that, keeping it close to home, trying to find, researching the folklore so I get it right, researching the history of places in the Carolinas. So, researching the social issues so that way there's still social relevance, but it's not banging you over the head with an allegory, because I hate allegory.
How many times can we mention banging in a single stream?
It wouldn't be a problem if you could be an adult.
What is that? So, did your world building for the trilogy expand in the sequel? And if so, can you tease a new aspect of the world?
A little bit. A new continent's introduced by name. Where Harissa Kasol is from.
Look, I love how it sounds like you're cracking up a little when you say her name.
And another group of vampire hunters is introduced, as well as the fact that they hunt vampires with weapons that are originally weapons vampires created to fight each other, which may hint at something else in the future.
Which character from the trilogy surprised you the most during their development?
Gwen's going according to plan. Karina's moving sort of the way I figured she would. Courage is a challenge to write, even as someone with ADHD,
Really?
because there's the, how do you depict ADHD but not be a walking stereotype?
We have a question. Yay! Oh, Chris is paying attention. What is your solution for writer's block when you're stumped on where to take the story? I'm surprised you said that. And before we go to that, I'm surprised you say that about Courage. Because of the character background you have that inspired him, I would think that he would have been the easiest for you to write, honestly.
No, but because it's when you're thinking about representation. There's how do you do it where it feels natural and doesn't feel tokeny or overdone. Because he's also physical disability rep.
He's also a butthead.
Because he has a peg leg.
True.
Or a mechanomagical prosthetic leg.
Which, weird enough, so the Farandolans are inspired by the Farandolans, a family in our D&D group, and the latest D&D campaign, and I don't think Blake, who's playing the character, even knows this. The latest Farandolan being played in campaign has a mechanical leg. That's kind of, that really just now occurred to me. So that means there's 3 Farandolans who play into the Farandolan, to Courage Farandolan now.
Well, I didn't know anything because I wasn't a part of that game originally.
It's kind of weird how that worked out, though. All right, and to Chris's question.
Since I'm replacing a butthead.
Just so we know, all Farandole and younger brothers are boat heads. It's true.
So, to the question, solution to writer's block. I mean, this one didn't really happen, but as I always, same thing I tell students: walk away, take a break, read in a different genre. Read something you wouldn't normally read. That's sort of how I started reading heterosexual romances.
I'm sorry, I'm so tired.
That, and they're, everywhere.
Yeah.
But, read in a different genre. Do something, consume media, but you can't consume the media like an audience member. You have to consume it like an artisan. You have to think about how things are being put together, how the blocks are built. Really?
I don't know why you keep asking me to do these for you, because you know I'm an idiot.
Well, when I get someone to replace you, I assume a thespian of quality could.
I know, I'm just tired and burnt out and need a break. Need a vacation from my vacation.
But no.
But what
6
about,
months?
6 months?
Maybe the story isn't what you need to be writing.
Don't ask me long.
Maybe, I mean, go back and look at your manuscript. There might be a grain of a story that you want to write, but what you've written isn't what you meant to be writing. Also, consider an outline. Just your basic save the cat format outline or 3-act structure. I've taken to sort of the you need 3 questions answered for a character, right? Who is this character? What is their goal? Why haven't they achieved it? It's what I asked from D&D.
I know. I was about to say that.
Who is your what dumbass are you playing in the campaign? What do they want to accomplish? Why have they failed? It could be an internal motivator, an external motivator. But no, Save the Cat's a good format. 3-act structure, 7 plot points.
Don't know if this would help. I was bad about not writing in order, and I would have an outline, and there would be certain story beats that would stand out like movies in my head, and those are the parts I would try to commit to paper first, and then fill in the rest.
For some people, I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm weird.
Everyone writes differently.
Yeah.
I have to write in order.
What works for one person might not work for another, vice versa. What matters is finding what's right for you.
Which is one reason why I don't do like a writing advice social media channel, like every other writer does, to get their name out there, because I know, and I knew this as an English teacher.
She is German. She must follow the rules and the structure.
I know that what works for me doesn't work, and I know that my process has evolved book to book to book to book. And so your process may change. Writing a romance is, I do it differently. A lot more prep work than I do for writing fantasy. But this, it was get the map in place. Book 2 doesn't have the map. I didn't feel like messing with the design software. Book 3 will have the newest version of the map. I can't say anything because that's some heavy spoilers, as lines on maps change.
Which character from the trilogy surprised you the most during their development?
You asked me that.
Did I?
Yeah. And I said it was courage.
What message do you hope readers will take away from the relationships between the characters?
Blood of the covenant. Blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The family you choose is more important than the family you were born with. Yeah. Just because a leader says they have the same goal as you doesn't mean they do.
Seems very, very prevalent considering what's going on today.
And that wasn't on my mind. I was thinking leading up to World War I, Central European politics.
Can you share a sneak peek at like the opening line or a short excerpt of the final installment to pique our interest? Pique our interest? Interest?
Can you say it normal?
Pique our interest.
Yes, I can.
Like PK turns are a thing in ballet. My brain is done.
Let's start with the opening chapter, shall we?
Woo!
As the morning sun ascended toward its zenith, on the ides of the month Kievia, the golden flecks in the white marble of the Van Diamante castle gleamed and twinkled in the warm light. Hertogia Gwenera Van Diamante,
Well, I've been pronouncing that wrong in my head.
the Caesarea of Florentia's midnight court, called out in her Fromian accent, "Hurry to the carriage, children, or we'll miss the Lupercine procession."
Wait, that's book 3.
Yeah.
Oh, duh. That question does reference book 3. Hi, tired, dumb, under-caffeinated. All the bad things.
Well, it's your own fault for being under-caffeinated.
Yeah, I know.
Gwen yawned. Over the past week, she had grown accustomed to not having to awaken until sunset, as was natural for a vampire. But day walking allowed her to spend more time with her beloved Karina Skajic, as well as the 10 guests staying at her castle. And it was to 5 of those guests, the youngest of the Farandole children, that she spoke.
Babies.
So, well, they're not babies.
Yeah.
We're going to open with Lupercalia, if you will.
I have been, how did you pronounce, I've been pronouncing it Hertogia in my head.
Hertogia.
Yeah, I've been pronouncing it wrong in my head. Shooting star. There are plenty of things in this that I'm like,
well, you didn't recognize the Irish phonology.
Yeah, that's special. Do you have a release date in mind for the final book in the trilogy if your editor ever finishes editing it?
That's the problem, isn't it? When the editor had time, the editor did nothing.
Go ahead, slap.
Let's get the mascot from the publishing house. The Cursing Raven.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just, I tell you, this is going to sound so dumb to all the readers. I do most of my editing in the bathtub. You can attest to that. I can't get decent hot water in my new apartment, which coincides with a lot of the time that I've not been editing.
But you've had it before you left.
I did it, but then I was surrounded by people trying to come and do my time with holidays. I promise it's getting done at some point.
Well, it needs to, because I'm going to need to
Yes.
get the ISBNs.
So if this dumb bitch can get that done, when are you hoping to publish it?
Around Thanksgiving, in
Okay.
time for Christmas.
All right. What are you most excited for readers to experience in the second book?
The second book's a little bit more personal. I mean, we get more of the personal struggles, more of the familial struggles, the how do family and religious trauma intersect. We see some of the things that make slow burn a struggle for people who hate slow burn, but fun for those of us who like to torment slow burners.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about the sequel that we have not mentioned yet?
I mean, technically it ends on another cliffhanger, but you should expect that in a trilogy. There will be some events happening that, because this is an Arcana punk fantasy, and we take the idea of the fantasy D&D world, moving it forward into Victorian, Edwardian, with hints of fin de siècle and pre-World War I era Central and Eastern European politics. And so you get to see elements of Romanov grandeur. You get to see more of the Atharian Empire. But instead of in book one, which, like your punk adventures, focuses on, hey, the 1%, the rich can afford to do all these cool things. Now we're seeing the poor and their struggles. We're seeing when students start to revolt. There's a scene around a table with students.
My brain just went to Les Mis.
Very good. But based on the book,
I've never read the book. I have only seen the musical.
but you get the idea of, and we see, when you have power to throne, you start to see that, when the empire is less holy, even though the emperor calls himself blessed, because his advisors are easily manipulated. And you can see his manipulation and, what happens if, shall we say, Rasputin were to take over Romanov Russia. And how that would play out. So get some ideas of bringing in, you get to see political unrest because, steampunk's cool. Victorian technology with steam. Do you realize that in Victorian England, 86% of the population lived below the poverty line? So 86% of England at that time was one bad paycheck away from starving to death.
You only really get references to that when people write about inspired by Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Or Dickens.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Because Dickens, as much as I hate his writing, Charles Dickens was a lobbyist and was behind opening the first children's hospital.
Really?
Because in that time, if you let women and children in hospital bed, well, you were condemning an entire family to the poorhouses, because they would take a bed that a man who could get a job would then not be able to have.
Wow.
So, that's how we view healthcare started to, this is the time when Dr. Lister invented antiseptic that later became Listerine. So,
his legacy.
we have we're slowly getting in our history to the idea that surgery should be sanitary. But this is a world with magic and magical tech. But there's still the blood-borne dirtiness and the poverty. And we're seeing how the poor live in places where broken and shoddy, malfunctioning magitech leads to outbreaks of disease and plague. And when you have an empire that does nothing,
How did the cat learn how to freaking knock?
he's always known how to knock.
Do you hear this?
That's the cat.
But he's dumb. How do you figure out how to knock? Sorry, Pickle, or the male, is a straight up himbo. Like, he dumb. And I'm impressed that he has apparently figured out how to knock on the door and not just scratch and meow and the usual cat thing.
Oh, he's also like the sliding doors for the closets. He just pushes them straight inward and goes in. Bull in a china shop.
He was a handsome boy, though, with very pretty paws.
But no, I wanted to bring in those end of the century. He is a gentleman. The end of the century struggles of healthcare and plague and politics, because we love these adventure stories, but we're not. But for speculative fiction, steampunk fails because it often doesn't critique the society. It gives you the adventures of the wealthy, but it doesn't point a finger at the wealthy and how they're doing so on the backs of the working class.
You do see more of that with Diesel Punk, though. But that's
You do see more with
a
Diesel
shift
Punk.
in genre, technically. Similar, but
It depends. I mean, like,
it's steampunk's poor dirty cousin.
and also because it's in between the world wars, so. But, and we had a lot more poverty to deal with. We saw more widespread, yes, Victorian England had widespread poverty, but Weimar Germany, was a wheelbarrow full of Deutschmarks to buy a loaf of bread, versus the decadence of Weimar Berlin, the Great Depression in the U.S. So we saw and how political unrest fueled what happened.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the Peanut Gallery? From one of my favorite nuts specifically, because pretty sure he's the only one watching. But Beach.
At this point, I mean, hey. But no, I mean, it's one of those books that marketing a sequel is hard, because if they didn't read the first book, and I know that a lot of people wait until the series is over because of certain individuals we'll call George R.R. Martin. Or, like Robert Jordan passing before he finished Wheel of Time. So people tend to wait until a series is complete. Then they buy it all at once and binge. we've become. It's also look at how we do shows.
Oh, there are some people who like wait for the whole thing to come out and then just binge it.
Well, look at how. I mean, Netflix releases a season at a time. So that way,
The way we consume media really is changing when you think about
it
it.
has changed in the way people consume books. I've got my dedicated readership, and I'm grateful for them. But I know I've got some saying, when's the series going to end? Because they want to wait until it's finished.
I will say with book 3, I definitely waited till you were close to finishing or finished before I started reading because I was like, once I start this, I'm not gonna. I didn't want to get to a chapter with a big cliffhanger and then scream at you.
And
like happened a lot with book 2.
And what happened is you haven't.
I haven't read. I know, I'm terrible. I've gotten through like 2 chapters, 3 maybe.
And you've got 27 more to go. No, I'm not going to punish you. I'll just shame you.
Let the bird do it.
But I know book 3 is where it is the final confrontation.
Ooh, do you want to go full Hannah Waddingham on me?
If you don't get it read within the next 5 weeks, yes.
That'll be the video for the next book release. Will you be following me with the bell yelling shame?
Oh no, I'll just do it every time I see you.
Shame. For the record, we freaking love Hannah Waddingham. We're very sad she wasn't a host at Eurovision this year.
Well, it wasn't in
so
England.
I know, but she's so amazing.
She was amazing. She did a great job.
We should just let her host. She could be the new Petra.
I mean, I'd rather her than Petra.
Petra's not bad, but Hannah is amazing.
And watching Graham Norton play the straight instead of the comedic was interesting.
Yep.
But
have you? Okay, that's a fun, dumb question I'm going to ask. And this is
Lord.
Any of your books, not just this current trilogy. Have you ever slipped into Eurovision references into any of your books?
Have I?
I don't know if you did this subconsciously, but I'm pretty sure Sam Hain bought blue lingerie at one point, which would definitely be a Lena reference.
Did she?
I think she did. I feel like she did at one point.
I'll ask Heather because Heather's my walking Sam Hain encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember. Because if she did, I remember the weird orange colored dress for Christmas at Castle Karnstein that worked with her skin tone.
She is usually in shades of blue or orange. So I swear there was one point where she had blue lingerie.
I mean, there may have been.
Didn't Destiny take her shopping for it even?
It may have happened.
I promise you. I swear.
I don't remember.
I might actually remember something. Yeah.
Because I don't tend to have music on when I write.
Nope, you don't. You put on creepypastas because you're a weirdo.
I mean, for the current Sam Hain
Guys'
novel,
Grocery Games.
it's been Ghost Adventures. When you meet former football player turned ghost hunter Zeke Blevins.
Seriously though, have you put think about it, or will you slip into Eurovision references into future books?
I don't know because I don't.
I feel like Baby Lasagna belongs in one of your worlds. Don't ask me which one, because I'm not sure.
I mean, Destiny may have watched or mentioned Eurovision at some point.
She probably has.
But I don't recall if I have. Just because it's.
I know you don't do author advice live streams. We should totally live stream us watching Eurovision one year.
I mean,
that would be hysterical.
I know I don't do author advice. I've been saying I'm going to do don't. Please don't knock over the lamp.
No, I'm not gonna go to the lamp. I moved the foot away.
I've been saying I'm going to do a live writing live stream
That could be cool.
or a brainstorming live stream, but then I just start writing.
I feel like you would have to like come over to my house to do it or something, because otherwise it would be just Catus interrupt us every 5 minutes or less,
It would be.
which might get more views.
Because I've been saying I was going to do some sort of like a weekly thing on, now that I have Instagram Live, and I can live stream from that platform. But, you know, when you have different projects in the work, and I do apologize, the standard June R.S. Parker romance will probably not happen this year.
Womp womp.
Just because I got people bugging for book 6, and I've got to get book 6 finished.
I mean, I like an R.S. Parker romance.
Well, they're bugging for book 6 of with Sam, so I've got to get that finished.
Well, maybe when you're done, you can throw in an R.S. Parker romance.
We'll see.
What do you think you would do?
I don't know. I mean, I started.
2 words. Cat Cafe.
No.
With a daff daff.
I had
Cat memorial book.
a succubus who was bad at succubusing, who wants to open a bake shop.
I thought you already read that. Didn't you say you were writing that?
I had 3 chapters and I just got tired.
Yeah.
I got stuck. I couldn't think of a stupid romance novel plot that didn't sound too cliche.
Isn't that the point? They're supposed to be cliche.
Yeah, but I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think this about time we can call it.
Yeah, I think so. All right. So, Robin Shottle, A Tale of Ocular Crows?
Oracular.
Oracular. I'm not good at wording. That's what you introduced.
Tales of Oracular Crows, because the crows give, or the Corvidae provides oracles.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able. I read it as oracular, like oracular phobia. Yeah, that was a dumb joke before I even said it. Sorry, burnout. I'm just.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching. Read the book. Yay!